My name is Tashrique. I'm originally from Bangladesh. I'm a senior here at Williams College, and I'm studying computer science. So last summer, I was actually interning at Meta. I was in the Menlo Park office, and I was working as a software engineering intern. In terms of big tech, this is my first experience, but I had some computer science, like software engineering roles in small startups nationally in the US and outside the US too. So the recruiting process for big tech is pretty much mostly similar all over the industry. In summary, it's mostly you submit your resume, there is a recruiter call, there's an online assessment you do, there's like a couple rounds of technical interviews, some have behavioral interviews, and then basically the offer. For me, what it was like is I networked a lot. I focused a lot on heavy networking before I even the previous summer, I started reaching out to Williams alumni who worked in specific companies and trying to get insights on what type of people they want in interns and also full-time roles. And they connected me with people who can help me with those resources. And yeah, for Meta specifically, I applied to their portal, and then a recruiter gave me a call. And just to make sure, the recruiter call is basically just to make sure no one's really crazy. It's a real person and they know what they're getting into. After that round, they send you a take-home technical assessment, which is basically lead code problems. For me, it was mostly medium to hard level questions. And after you pass those 3 rounds, well, the first 2 rounds are the hardest because there's so much volume in applications that it's really hard to be seen. And so that's where networking comes in, and then people can tap in, and the recruiters can also help you with the process. After the take-home, you get to schedule your technical interview round, which is, for me, it was 1 month out. I had 1 month out, and I had no practice with lead code at all. So what I had to do was shut everything off my life and basically just grind on lead code for 10 hours straight. And yeah, it was not the healthiest way of living, but I made it. The technical round was pretty chill. The interviews are very well trained, so people are very nervous going into those interviews. But as long as you do enough mock interviews and have practice with the problems, you'll be totally fine. For me, it was only 1 technical round. For some other people, there's usually 2 technical rounds and 1 behavioral round. And yeah, that's after that you get team matching forms, and after that comes the offer. So a day in the life as an intern they gave me corporate housing. I was living at a very nice place with a very nice neighborhood. I woke up and got my backpack ready when there was an office shuttle that would come at 5 minutes walking distance from where I live. Got on the bus. There were people that they had monitors in the bus so you could connect via computers and do work in the shuttle. That was kind of insane. And basically go to the office, get breakfast. They have, I think, 14 restaurants where you can choose from where to eat. That's one of my favorite parts about working there. Get a breakfast, go do any early meetings in the morning, and basically just let my manager know what I'm going to be working on today and what I have finished yesterday or the previous week, and mostly just work on my desk. So you have the freedom of going anywhere and working as long as you attend the meetings on time. That was really nice. You could just go sit in the garden and do work. And yeah, so I would come back at around after I got dinner, lunch, I would come back home and just hang out by myself, or I would just go visit my friends in Berkeley who would sometimes come over and we would do something fun. Yeah, so the team that I worked on is called Growth Notifications. So all the emails that you get from Facebook or Instagram, that's the team that I worked on. I know sometimes people get annoyed with those emails, but what I worked on was making those emails more relevant, more qualityful, and picking the right ones to send to people. I was also working a little bit on the push notifications, but my major contribution was in email notifications. Yeah, so Facebook has Meta has its own language called FAANG. It's basically built on top of PHP, and they have a lot of internal tools, which is they interestingly you can think of anything in tech, and then they have an internal tool for that. And the interesting part about it is they communicate with each other, so it's very easy to integrate within your project. So my onboarding process was a little hard because I've never used PHP or Hack before, since it's not out there. And so I had to learn the language. And one point is that learning the language is not really a big deal once you get to a point of once you it's just syntax. You can just look up the syntax. They have their own AI chatbot where you can just go in, and I'm sure people have used something like Cursor before. They have their own cursor version. So development is getting easy and easy every day. And yeah, other than that, mostly like the internal tools is what I worked on. The takeaway from these is not really the specific tools that I learned, because I cannot usually use them outside of that company. The takeaway is the problem solving, the basically how to connect dots and find where the solutions are, the answers are lying. They do a great job of putting you in a team where you get enough support. They make sure you get enough support. So I had one manager who was in charge of everything that I did. And the team that I worked in, they had like 5-6 people in that team who were assigned to me as buddies. Basically, they would make sure if I need any sort of like external support, I could get that and getting context from the team, because my manager was also new to the team. So they did not have enough context on like everything that I was working on. So like the other team members who have been in the team for quite a while was very helpful. Other than that, you can also have like micro mentorship on different topics. I could talk to my managers if there was something wrong. So they had this flexibility of like any sort of support you need, you will find it. Yes, one of the things that surprised me was one of the values that Meta has is move fast, ship fast, and the speed at people that push their code to production is insane. Like they have an idea today, they like test it tomorrow, they launch it in like 2 days. And that's something that I did not expect going in there. And I had to like cope myself up with that speed, because it is a little fast for me. But at the end of the internship, I was already ahead of my schedule. So I think I made a little bit of progress on time there. But yeah, one of the things that amazed me. In terms of advice for people applying to internships, my first, like anyone who I meet, I just say like, reach out to people you know, you don't know. I'm so lucky to be at Williams, because I say so because the alumni network is so accessible and people have a very good response rate. Use that resource and start doing things early, because if you're trying to get into the big tech industry, everything else gets filled out very fast. So if you're applying, just like the moment it comes out, try to do it the same day. Don't wait for like referrals to come in or something. What matters most is how early you're applying. Do a lot of projects. Just like don't make class projects and put them in your local host. Publish them, make them public. And yeah, I know you are doing a project called Loop and you're building publicly, which I really appreciate. Building publicly also gives you more exposure if you're posting on LinkedIn, like, oh, this is my progress from first week, this is my progress from second week. This tells the recruiters or like technical people that are looking at your profile that this guy knows what he's doing and he is consistent and he's making progress. So mostly those things, yeah. At Williams, I'm almost done with my major. I recently dropped my math major so I could focus more on my projects that I want to do this semester. I've been recently focusing on learning more of the AI, ML basic concepts and doing some projects on that. Other than that, I just want to enjoy my senior year. It's probably the last time I'll be in academics. Maybe it's some couple of years later I want to do a master's, but I'm just enjoying my time here right now and trying to make connections as much as possible. My junior year, I spent my entire time in UC Berkeley. When I was thinking of doing study abroad programs, my initial thought was, okay, I want to do one that is like going to be helping in my career, and I want to do that is like very travel focused. So my plan was initially to go to UC Berkeley because of the proximity to the tech industry. And there's so many clubs and everything related to tech that I want to get into. That was one of the prime reasons I wanted to go to UC Berkeley. And my plan was initially for spring semester, I want to go do a program in AIT Budapest. And that was mainly my focus because I wanted to travel a little bit around. But I did not have an internship at the end of my fall semester and I was panicking a lot. So what I had to do was, I stayed back at UC Berkeley for one more semester. And the reason was my first semester I had a surgery and I couldn't really go out and do as much as I could do as much as I wanted to do. So the next semester I started to branch out more. I went to like San Francisco almost every week, like met people from Williams, met people like Berkeley alumni who are working at like Salesforce, Google and everything, went to office visits. And there's a lot of like tech events and there's like founders everywhere. So if you're really into like startups, I would recommend doing a study away semester in UC Berkeley and going to those events and like talking to founders. You can get a lot of knowledge about like raising money, talking to people, how to build a business. Yeah. The biggest difference, I think, between UC Berkeley and Williams Computer Science is how the courses are structured and the number of students being enrolled. In Williams, the class size is very small, usually like 20 people or so. In Berkeley, it's like hundreds. So the way you can communicate with professor very closely at Williams, that is not really possible to do so in Berkeley. But in terms of like the class structure and the syllabus, what Williams is very like theory focused, and they focus on the main core courses that you have, and theory is a very big part of it. At Berkeley, they have a very project heavy like curriculum. Like every semester, every course that I took had like at least 3-4 projects throughout the semester, and they were like big projects, not really like mini labs. In terms of CS clubs, Williams has like 1 or 2, which are okay, but Berkeley has a lot of like very good like industry connected, where they have projects from the big tech and startups that come to them and tell them that, okay, I need some students who should be working in this project, and they like supply those people. Interestingly, those clubs have a very like bizarre interview process. It's same like big tech. You apply your resume, you have a technical screening, you have a behavioral group call. It's a lot of work to get into those clubs too. So yeah, that's mostly the biggest difference in CS. Biggest takeaway at the end of the study away year is classroom is like 10% of your experience. Just get out, do stuff, make friends, just like branch out. I think like there's like a saying, it's a little cliche, but like the most growth happens when you're out of your comfort zone. And I have had a mentor from Berkeley who I myself am an introvert person. So the best advice he could give me was do more uncomfortable things. That's where you are gonna be growing the most. Yeah, just enjoy your time, like have a good time while you're at college. And thanks to Wahab for arranging this.